the Rattlesnake Lanyard knot or the over-under heaving line knot. Hello everybody, welcome back, and in today's little exercise I'm going to show you the main part of the exercise is how to tie the over-under heaving line knot, and this is actually the over-under heaving line knot tied in obviously a heaving line. And you can see here now this knot forms a rather decorative pyramid of loops on a rope. And what we're going to do today in today's little exercise, I'm going to show you how to turn this particular knot into a nice knife lanyard. You can, if you want, just tie the knot on its own without any tiddly bits on the end here. But as you can see in this particular lanyard here, what I've done is I have tied a simple lanyard knot. I then tied the rattlesnake knot, and then underneath that I have tied another lanyard knot. You can, if you want, double it, or in this case here, lanyard knot, rattlesnake knot at that point there, and then I've put a double Matthew Walker in there. The choice is yours, you know, but in today's little exercise we're going to do this particular lanyard here, and then you can change it as you want it. So anyway, I will see you in a minute. So let's get knotting. Right, so what I've got in front of me, I've got my paracord, and what I've done is I have not centered it as such, but about a third of the way down. And what I'll do is at the end of the video I will put a on the description at the end of the video I will put the measurements that I used and where I've actually folded my paracord. But in this particular case I have taken my length of paracord and not centered it but folded it about a third of the way down the actual cord itself. Now that I've done that, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to determine how big we want our loop to be here. So depending on how big you want your loop for your knife lanyard is up to you. But you know, you choose that. Plan it out before you start and then decide the actual length of that loop. So in my particular case, I'm just going to make a smallish loop, and the first thing that I'm going to do is into my knot here, I'm going to tie myself a simple lanyard knot. Now if you want to, you can go ahead, you can tie yourself a double lanyard knot, a crown and diamond knot, a double crown and diamond knot, you know the routine, the knot of your choice. So anyway, for this lanyard, what I'm first of all going to do is just put my hand through the loop that I created at that point there. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom lead, and when I get hold of the bottom lead here, as I take hold of it, I'm going to twist it, and you'll see what I do here. And if you find that it's a little bit difficult to follow with the paracord here, I will put a link in the description below where you can see just the lanyard knot being made. So as you can see here, what I've done is, if I just unfold that, you can see here I've taken that loop and I've folded it over itself and then passed it so that it goes over the top of the cord coming over the top of my hand. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the working end of this lead here, so go down, you've got quite a bit of paracord messing about, and the next thing that I'm going to do is take that working end, so keep that loop there, then take the working end from the top one, pass it underneath this working end here, underneath, and then I'm going to weave it so that it goes over, under, over. So take it down, bring it back up again, and then pull through the excess. And you can see here now that as I do this, just do this up gently, and you'll see here now that we've got our familiar carrick bend has appeared in this section here. Right, so now that I've done that, I'm just going to pull it up, just get some of the excess out of it. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the working end from the one coming out of the top right hand side. So I'll just hold it like that so you can see it a bit better. But I'm going to take that working end, and when I can actually find the end, there it is. And you can see here, that is where my hand was going through the loop. So if I place it over my hand again, you can see now that that is going over the loop. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to pass my working end to the left hand side of that one there, and then up through the middle and pull through the excess. And just gently pull it through. Get any twists in your paracord out of it, because you want to keep this nice and neat and tidy. And just take the twists out. I'm getting twists in it, and there we go. So now then, I've taken that one through, and as you can see, it's gone over the one going around my hand. Right, next thing I want to do is I want to take the working end. Let's take this one out the way. I want to take the working end from this one. So take the working end from that one and then pass it round underneath the cord we've just worked with. And you can see here now my hand is going through the loop at this point here. We want to bring it over that one there. So we're bringing it over that one. And then what I'm going to do is suddenly do a sharp turn and bring it down and up through the middle there on that one. And then just pull through the excess, just gently pull it through. There we go, pull through the excess. And now, when I get hold of this now and start to pull up, you will see, slightly misshapen to start with, but you will see here now that we've got our lanyard knot starting to appear. And all I'm doing now is taking out all the slack in it, and eventually we will end up with a nice diamond pattern. And you can see here, at the moment I've got a loop that size. If I want to, I can shorten the loop by feeding the cords through and then working my way round and getting the cords to come out that end more. And then just keep pulling through, and you'll see then gradually as I pull this up and pull it up nice and even and gentle, and you can see here now we've got ourselves a nice diamond knot has started to appear. So that is the first stage, and all I'm going to do now is go round and pull out all the slack so that this knot sits nicely and firmly at the end of the paracord where I want it. And that is just doing the simple lanyard knot there. If I wanted to, I could have gone and doubled it, but that's for a different video. Anyway, the main thing that we're going to do is we are going to now tie the I forgot the name of it, rattlesnake knot, or the over-under or under-over heaving line knot. So anyway, I'll just get myself prepared for that, and then I'll see you on the other side. So I've got my lanyard knot there. I've got my paracord laid out in front of me going off to the right hand side, and as I pull it through, you will see, there it is, the top one is shorter than the bottom one by about a third. And all I'm going to do now is just put it back in position and then take the bottom one, which is the longer one, and we're going to form our S shape in our cord. And you can see here now, up to the knot is part of the loose elongated S. And now that I've done that, the next thing I want to do is just move it all so that it's easier to see, and then we're going to start our weave. So we've got our 3 columns here, right, middle, left. And the first thing I'm going to do is the working end is on my left hand one, so that goes to my working end. I'm going to bring it underneath the middle one and just take it all through. Take it all through, take all the twists out as you're going along because you want it nice and neat. It just saves a lot of hassle at the end, and then you can see now it's going underneath the middle one over the right hand one, and we just take that working end again, and this time we just bring it over the top of the center one, and underneath both of them then. So over the top of the center, underneath both, don't let them get crossed over, and we will end up locking the middle one in position. So take all the twists out of it, and there we go. We've now put a complete turn around our middle one, and we're going off underneath the right hand one. The next thing I do is I'm now going to weave back the other way, and to weave back the other way is as easy as it can be. Is we're going to go over the right hand one, under the middle one, over the left hand one. So over, under, over, and take through the excess. Whoops, mind as you catch it, but keep your 3 legs together. and then there we go. You can see now, and what I'm going to do is just pull out a little bit so that it locks on that one there, and you can see now I've gone around. We've got two nice turns there around the center one and around the right hand one. And now I'm going to take that working end again, and I'm going to pass it underneath the left hand one, underneath the center one, and bring it out. And that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing for our weave. It's as simple can be. And now that I've done that, you can see now I have, in a sense, formed a little mini pyramid. Probably hard to see at this point here, but we've now gone round our 3 cords with 3 loops. And so what you can do now is just push them up, pull up a little bit, get some of the slack out of it, because it just saves time later on going round again. And now that we've done that, the next thing we want to do is go round the center one underneath the right hand one. Whoa, gosh, let's just hang on. Whoa, don't you hate it when that happens? So yeah, there we go, back in position. So what we're doing is, like I said before, is we're going to go up, over and around the center one. Oh, I do catch these. Up, over and around, so get my 3 cords back into position. Up, over, around the center one, underneath the right hand one, and pull through the excess. And just pull through the excess, and you can now see that we've created another loop around our middle one. So to weave it back the other way, might as well do it one more time, seeing I messed that up a bit, is go over the right hand one, under the middle one, over the left hand one. So over the right, under the middle, over the left, pull through the excess, and we've now created another loop at that point there. And then once again, just going back the other way, get the working end. We're going to go underneath the left hand one, underneath the center one, over the right hand one, and pull through the excess. And that's all we're doing, all the way round, like so. There we go. And now I take it over, all the way over the middle one, underneath the middle one, underneath the right hand one. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to keep weaving that until I start running out of a bit of cordage, or I've got the length that I actually want. Okay? But you will see, as you look at this, you have got a physical pyramid of loops coming towards you. So what I've done is I've done a few more turns, and you can see here now that as I twist this, hopefully now you can see that we've got a nice pyramid of loops appearing. And if I actually get hold of my cords, just gently push them up, and you can see that as I push them up, as I tighten them up, we're now getting a nice interweave pattern along here. And it really is, when you're holding it, it really is a nice triangular shape. So as you can see, my working end is currently, let's place my leads out properly. So it's currently going around my center one. So let's finish off this section now. And the next thing I do is, just to finish off, I am going to go over the right hand one, underneath the middle one, and then I'm going to go over go over, under, over like so, under like so, form another loop at that point on the right hand side there, form another loop underneath on the left hand side, and then just gently pull the excess through, and there we go. We've now, this bottom loop here will eventually lock this one strand here in place as we pull up on it. And so the next thing, so as I've done that, you can see here now that I've gone through the bottom loop, but as I now, let's just take some of the tension, let's tension it up a bit, and as you can see now, as I push up, you can see I'm gradually starting to get a nice pattern appearing. So the next thing that we want to do is, now that bottom cord, this cord here, that is going through that loop, we now need to lock that into position. And to lock that into position, what we do is we find, so that's it there, we now pull up on the top right hand side here. You'll see where the cord is running down here, and we're going to lock it. So just pull through the excess, just gently. As I hold that there, you can see that loop is gradually getting smaller, and eventually as I pull it up, it will pull up nice and tightly into the actual knot itself. But the problem we've now got here is that we've now got excess cordage here. But that's not a massive problem, because what we can do is we can just now go to the top here, and we can see where that lead, so you can see these, the up and down leads, the three that we had before, you can see where they're running through the cordage. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull up on it there. So we're now shortening that one, and then just shorten. There we go, shorten it, bring it in, and now it takes us onto this lead here. I can see this lead here runs to that top one there. So the idea is lock the bottom in place so it doesn't come undone. So just pull it up, lock it so that it doesn't come undone. And you can see now here that I'm gradually pulling up on it. It's slightly misshaping, but I've now got quite a bit of excess at the top here. But to get rid of that excess now, I just get hold of it here, and then what I need to do is I need to weave it back down through the cord itself. Now this is a slow process, but you will see here that all I'm doing is taking up the slack and then weaving it down through the don't over tighten it, because we want it to look and keep its nice shape, but gradually pull it through, and as I pull it through, I will slowly work my way down to the bottom of the knot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work myself up and down, work myself up. I'm going to work myself up by doing this, and you will then see that we end up with, it's almost a nice pattern, slightly out of shape, but you'll see when I've gone up and down and tightened a few times. So as you can see, I've gone down one more time, and it's starting to shape itself up nicely. But what I've got to do, and this is the tricky part with this knot, is that you have to keep going up and down with the weave and just pull out all the slack. As I feel it, I can still feel it's quite slack, but you can see here now that we've got that lovely shape that's starting to appear that I believe looks like a rattlesnake's tail. So I'm going to go up and down a few more times, and then I'll come back to you. So there you go. As you can see, I've I've tightened up, gone up and down a couple of times, and now we've ended up with this rather lovely tail. And so the next thing that I'm going to do is, at this point here, choice is yours again. I mean, to be honest, you can just have a lanyard using the actual rattlesnake knot itself. I mean, here's one that I've put into a heaving line, and on a heaving line, it looks rather good. It's a very nice decorative knot to put in. So anyway, next thing we're going to do, just for this little exercise, is we're going to finish off the bottom here, and all I'm going to do is tie in another lanyard knot, the same as the one at the top there. So here's my lanyard, and the first thing I'm going to do is just put a couple of fingers over either side of it, just like that, and then just take that one underneath. Now what we're doing again with this one here is the bottom one, we're going to fold it and twist it over the top one. So I'm just getting hold of it, twisting it over the top one. And so there you go, we've now got that particular shape there. So in other words, it's going around underneath itself, around and over the top at that point there. The next thing I do is I get the working end of the one we've just passed this over, and I pass that underneath the working end of the other strand. So it's going underneath that one, and then we're going to weave it over, under, over at that point there. Very quick, very simple, and I'll put a more There's a better video on this, and I'll put a link in the description below for that video as well. And so there we go. We've now got ourselves our little carrick bend in there. And the next thing we do is we just get either working end. I'm going to choose the working end from this one here, and I'm going to come up. So I'm going over the top, the one that's going around the back of my hand. So over the top, and then bring it up through the middle and pull. Just gently pull. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the work. Oh, don't over tighten. See that you always snag things. So I'm going to take now the working end of this one, and it's going to go around past the bottom one that's going around the back of my hand. And like I said in the description, there will be one just on the lanyard knot itself, a link, and then just bring it up round the back where it goes around the back of my hand, up through the middle, and then just gently, and then you can see here now, as I gently pull on that, you can see I'm now starting to get a nice lanyard knot appear there. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm basically going to take through the excess, and I'm going to bring it so that my lanyard knot is up close to my rattlesnake knot as such. So all I'm going to do is just find out where that lead goes there and just pull it up. Pull it up, and then find out where the other lead goes. It goes there. Pull it up and just pull up the excess, and then work your way round, taking the excess through until the knot sits nice and snug above our rattlesnake knot. So that's all I'm going to do now, is I'm just going to go around and tighten this up, and then I'll show you the finished item in a second. So as you can see, I've now moved my knot in that direction up there, and we now have ourselves, I'd say, quite a nice looking lanyard. I just need to go around and tiddly it up and square it up a bit, but you can see now here we've created a nice little lanyard for our knife. So all that leaves for me to do, you can put the finishing solution on it as well. The finishing solution will protect it more, stiffen it up, but you can see here now we've got a nice, fairly hefty grip of a lanyard here on our cord. So yep, that is how you do the rattlesnake or the over-under heaving line knot, and that is it, just as the heaving knot itself. And here I've just turned it into a bit of a decorative lanyard for your knife or something like that. So once again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Take care then. Bye bye.